Episode 1. Today we will be talking about thinking. Thinking, thoughts, the voice in your head, or the image in your head. There's a study that says that, some people don't have a voice in their head. I definitely have a voice in my head. My voice sometimes don't really shut it. And I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking that I'm the one who's thinking or speaking in my head. Sometimes some whisper comes into my head. I don't know. It'll come and it'll be like, shit, that's a thought don't want to entertain. In the past, I would entertain certain intrusive thoughts. Some intrusive thought kind of like, what would happen if I do this? Or what would happen if I'm just like pissed off and like letting that negative emotion run me instead of me running my emotions. And those thoughts will go into a very downward spiral, I would say. Yeah. Thoughts are interesting. Everybody thinks, you know. Everybody thinks. What I found out though is you are not your own thoughts. Just because you thought of it doesn't make you. Let's say you thought of a bad thought. You thought something. You sometimes you see a person on a wheelchair and you're like, what if I push that person down? That's an intrusive thought. And intrusive thought is something that is like a bad idea. I would say it's like a mischievous little thing in your head, and then you're like, can I do this or should I do this? Kind of like I want to do it. I don't know. Sometimes it comes. But the good thing is you are not your thought. You can choose your own thought. And what makes you a good person or a bad person is your own reason choice, right? You can have choices in your life, and then with good reasoning, you can select certain choices and filter out certain choices you do. Your actions. Yeah. But that's the important thing. You are not your own thoughts. Who you are, you can choose your thoughts. Sometimes you have a filter, like a huge load of thoughts, and you filter most of them, and you choose a certain thoughts to entertain, and that becomes who you are as a person. The important thing though is, I believe, you gotta finish your thought. If an idea or if like a certain thinking comes into your mind, right? And if you can choose to like filter it, right? If you filter it like say like, okay, I'm not entertaining that thought, you can just like cancel it out, shut it out. If you know that it's a bad for you. I definitely have my fair load of very, very intrusive thoughts. And I have kind of imagine let my imagination run wild, I would say, to the point that where I become a little bit, I don't know, cuckoo, a little loose in the head. And yeah, when I become aware of that, I'm like, okay, I should not entertain such thoughts. And yeah, it's choices that you make becomes who you are. And it is important you really carefully choose which thought you entertain and which thought you don't entertain. Because they become you once you entertain them. Is that like what was it? There's this series called Legion, right? I think it has one of the best representation of how thoughts work and how ideas work, and how delusion happens. Like they say in that series, I don't know which episode, but in that episode they say an idea is like an egg, and a delusion often start from being an idea. And once you start entertaining that idea, right, because you keep feeding it, you have to like get rid of all the good reasoning, all the logical ones, and you have to like get rid of all the, I would say, positive thoughts and keep feeding that negative thought. One day you'll become delusional because you believe that thought to be real. So it is really important which thought you feed. I definitely have fed really bad thoughts before, and till to this day, and I think till the day I die, obviously, I'll have to untangle a few of my thoughts or a few of the beliefs that I held before. And that kind of suck. But that's what makes it fun too. Because thoughts come constantly, right? You are also a person that will keep changing because every thought you filter and every thought you entertain kind of moves towards the person you're becoming. The character that is innate within you, will certainly choose to entertain certain thoughts and filter out certain thoughts. And I believe that, I don't know, my opinion is like, my belief is that everybody has a core personality, a core identity, I would say, a core energy of who they are. And that energy can, of course, be affected by your surrounding or your other people. But who you are as a core will slowly choose certain things. And yeah, you have certain beliefs and certain ideas, and that is who you are. I also believe that I have gone through a load of thinking to a point where I filter certain things out of my life, and I also added a few things in my life. And I want to have more ideas and more thoughts or more, perspective in life, to the point where I can like see it from a different point of view, and I want to select certain things that's, I don't know, that's meant for me. I would say one of the reason why I am doing this is also because, I don't know, I hope where I can get certain new perspective about things that I have never thought about, and in that sense, I can refine and temper my own ideologies and my own character, I would say. Yeah, that is good. Thinking is good. Thinking is good. And thinking comes naturally, right? To a point where certain ideas just like zoom past your head. And then you can change because of that. Every change is minuscule, but if it added up, if added up, compounded, you become a different person or who you are meant to become eventually. Though there are certain ideas that will change you very fast, instantly, in the blink of an eye. You know, certain realization, certain perspective that you didn't see before and you saw it and you're like, okay, I am no longer the old me. And that's pretty cool. I think one of the important thing to know here is you can choose your thought, choose the thought you feed, and choose which one you filter. That is very important to know. Filtering your own thoughts is basically saying you need to have a good reasoned choice. The only thing we're giving on this earth, the moment we're born, right, is our own reasoned choice. We can lose our health, we can lose material things, we can lose anything, our own lives, You can die any moment. Mortality is a big thing, it's a big issue. I used to be so afraid of death until one day the perspective comes where I cannot live a life where I keep fear of having the fear of death. So I just develop a fear of having a fear of death. That helps a lot. Once you know the fear of the bad thing about constantly worrying about dying, you're not gonna be able to live your life. You're gonna die anyway, so might as well live the best life you can, right? Do what you want, do the best you can, do good, or do bad if that's who you are. Though there are consequences in life. Karma is a bitch. Yeah. I have experienced that firsthand. Karma is a bitch. And the most important thing of thinking and everything is attention. Your attention is currency. Which idea you pay attention to, which things you pay attention to, you use it up, and using that attention is like getting EXP, experience point, right? That experience point becomes a part of you. You cannot reuse or get rid of that experience unless you have amnesia or some sort of like problem. But other than that, the experience you accumulate, the attention you pay towards to, and the feeding you done to which thought you entertain will eventually make you the person who you're becoming. And that core person is who you are. And you gotta accept who you are as that person. You can actively choose to become a different person. It's not saying who you are, but when you believe a certain thing is a certain way, let's say that you can believe like you can be a good bro or a good friend or a good husband, you can have certain, how do we say this, a ruler, a checklist of saying what's a good husband. Everybody has a different list on what makes them a good person, what makes them a bad person. Just choose the good list, and I think you'll be on your way to becoming who you are. So yeah, thinking is a important thing in life. Enjoy thinking. Yeah.